Kita mulai lomba storytelling kita hari ini. Pertama, saya perkenalkan dulu juri kita, our judges for the storytelling. Yang pertama, di sebelah kanan saya ada Ibu Maria Fitriyanti, MPD. Beliau adalah seorang praktisi pendidikan sejak tahun 1999. Beliau juga seorang edupreneur, co-founder Kumon Bambang Utoyo sejak tahun 2014. Selamat datang Ibu, terima kasih atas waktunya. Berikutnya juri kita ada Ibu Rizky Yurini SPD. Beliau seorang pengajar di bimbingan belajar Pena Taruna. Beliau juga seorang training site volunteer of FIFA U17 World Cup Jakarta 2023. Kita mulai the first performance with the participant number 1. Number 18.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Rizka Karira Sregar and I'm 5th grade from Intermediate Islamic School Alwadi Paja, Palembang. Do you know what song I played? Yup, a song with the title Our Kartini. And today, I want to tell you guys a story about a little girl with a big dream. From Central Java, R.A. Kartini. Once upon a time, in a land full of tradition and silence, there lived a girl with a big dream. Her name was Raden Ajahn Kartini. She was born in 1879 in Jepara, Central Java, into a noble Javanese family. She had everything except one thing: freedom. Why can't I go to school like my brothers? Why must girls stay at home, learn how to cook, sew, and wait to be married? Isn't my mind just as capable as theirs? Kartini was smart and curious. She loved to read books, newspapers, and even letters from her Dutch friends. And in every word, she found hope. If I cannot leave this house, let my letters fly to the world. I will write about my dreams, about a future where girls can learn and lead. She wrote letters, beautiful letters, about women's rights, equality, and education. Her world traveled far, even to the Netherlands. I do not wish to fight with swords. I fight with ideas. I dream of a school for girls where they can learn freely. And yes, she did it. Kartini opened her very first school near her hometown. Even though it was small, it was the beginning of something great. I may not live long, but my dreams will live forever. Sadly, Kartini died at the young age of 25. But her letters were later published in a book titled Out of Darkness Comes Light. And today, we remember her as a hero, a pioneer, and a right for women in Indonesia and the world. The moral of the story is R.A. Kartini teaches us about to every girl who dares to dream, to every boy who respects her dream. The future is yours. Let there be light. Out of darkness comes light. Fun fact, my birthday is actually the same as Kartini's. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Rizka. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wabarakatuh.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl who dreamed big, and today she is standing here in front of you. Hello, my name is Adelia Jasmine from SD Islam Azhara Palembang, and this is my story. A long time ago, in Jepara, Central Java, there lived a girl named Raden Ajeng Kartini. People called her Kartini. Kartini was smart and curious. She loved to read books and learn new things. But at that time, most girls in Indonesia were not allowed to continue school for long. But Kartini, she was like, stay at home all day? Not my style. Many people thought girls only needed to stay at home, cook, and prepare for marriage. Kartini asked herself, why can boys go to school but girls cannot? Aren't we all human? Don't we all deserve to learn? Even when she was not allowed to continue school, Kartini never gave up. She wrote letters to her friends. In those letters, she shared her dreams. A future where Indonesian women could go to school, choose their own path, and stand equal with men. Kartini's ideas inspired many people. Years later, schools for girls were built, and women in Indonesia had more chances to learn and grow. Today, every year on April 21st, Indonesians celebrate Kartini Day to honor her bravery and vision. Kartini may have lived more than 100 years ago, but her spirit is still alive. So remember, just like Kartini, you too can bring light to others. Never stop dreaming, because one voice can change the whole world. And I hope the spirit of Kartini can live forever. That's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody, good morning. Let me introduce myself. My name is Gunadiva Valeri. I'm from Islamic Azhar 45 Palembang. Today, I want to tell you a story about one of famous female of Indonesian figure. Her name is Raden Dewi Sartika. She is also known as Juragan Dewi or Juragan Agung. Is a national hero in the world of women's education. Long time ago, there lived an Indonesian national hero. Her name was Raden Dewi Sartika. Dewi Sartika was the pioneer of women's education and recognized as a national hero by the government in 1956. Dewi Sartika was the daughter of the husband and wife Raden Samanegara and Raden Aju Raja Permas. But unfortunately, her father, Samanegara, was dumped in Ternate by the government of Netherlands. Forgive me, Dewi. I can't live longer with you because this condition. Don't leave me, Daddy. Please, don't leave me alone. Sorry, I must leave you, honey. Your uncle will take care of you from now. Okay. Finally, Dewi entrusted to her uncle, Patih Arya. In the childhood, Dewi already to show herself to achieve a progress. I believe I can show my talent to achieve my progress, and I can teach the children to get an education, said Devi confidently. She often practices in school, learning to read, write, and dance language to children of the Kepatihan May. When she grew up, Dewi went back again to her mother in Bandung. It led her to reach her goal. It was driven also by her uncle, who has the same desire as her. But at that time, her uncle was worried. I'm worried if the girls can go to school and can't prove their goals, Dewi. But I have good news for you. I will allow you to build a school for girls, said her uncle. Thank you so much, uncle, said Dewi. Since 1902, Dewi has pioneered education for women. In 1914, the school name changed to Raden Dewi School. In the girls' school, students learn the skill of women in addition to the normal subject. There was also taught classes in Islam, which was not taught in school Western style. Because the school had grown, she opened school in the various cities, such as Bogor, Serang, even in West Sumatra. In September 1947, she died in Tasikmalaya, leaving 6 children. The moral of this story is, you must have the strong willing to achieve your goal. That's all my story about Raden Dewi Sartika. I hope you enjoy my story. See you and goodbye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Raise your heart, let yourself shine. A hero tale will now be mine. From Aceh land, so brave, so true. A woman rose, her spirit flew. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, the honorable judges and all the happy audience. My name is Nurkanita Ashaina from SD Furqan, Palembang. Have you ever heard a female hero that fought from her home? Welcome to the story of Cut Nyadian, a hero from Aceh. Let's listen to the story. Long ago, Aceh was a happy and peaceful place. The sun shone brightly, and the people lived together in harmony. And at the year 1848, a baby girl named Cut Nyadian was born. Her parents loved her so much and hoped she was good to be brave and smart. Welcome, little one. Cut Nyadian learned about her culture and tradition. She grew up to be kind and brave person. As she reached enough age, she married a man named Tuku Ibrahim. And they blessed with a son. But the happiness didn't last long, because suddenly the peaceful life in Aceh was disrupted by the airflow of the Dutch. They wanted to control Aceh and take the natural resources. Heard these people say they want to share their place, and dare to say it again to my face. What do you say about Archie? You stay away from my Archie. You stay away from my Archie, cause I said so. It's my Archie, it's my home. You stay away from my Archie. You stay away from my Archie. Where's the sword? Tuku Ibrahim, they stay silent. He and the other fought against the colonizer. During wartime, woman and baby was evacuated to safety. So, Chunyaden and her baby was waited for Tuku Ibrahim for a while. Take care, I'll come to you very soon. Little did he know, it was with their last meeting. Tuku Ibrahim was killed in the fight against the Dutch. Chunyaden was very sad. But I won't cry, and I won't start to crumble. Whatever they try, shut me or cut me down, I won't be silent. You can't keep me quiet. Won't tremble when you try it. Oh no, that I won't go speechless. I swear I will take revenge. I won't let the Dutch win. She decided to continue her struggle. In the midst of the struggle against the colonizer, Chunyaden met Umar, a hero with a common purpose. Then they got married, and together they led out their troops in the battle against the Dutch. We're going to fight the enemy population. Yes, that also prepare some backup troops to help us if the enemy gets too strong. Let's go! We need to take the enemy position! Hooray for Tukumar! Hooray for Chunyaden! Even though sometimes they lost the battle, Chunyaden and their troops never gave up. They kept fighting and using all their skills. Chunyaden was a true hero who fought against the colonizer. He showed that even in difficult times, we can be brave and strong. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all my story. Thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, the honorable judges and all my beloved friends. My name is Zahra Yasmin from SD Al Furqan, Palembang. Now, I'm going to tell you a story about one of Indonesia's great heroes. His name is Baharudin Yusuf Habibie, or we can call him Mr. Habibie. Do you want to listen to my story? Thank you. Let me begin. When Habibie was a little boy in Parepare, South Sulawesi, he loves to look at sky. Mama, look! The birds are flying so high. Yes, Habibie. Birds are free in the sky. But Mama, I want to fly too. Why humans can fly? Because humans must learn, think and create, my son. Maybe sometimes, maybe you will find the way. At school, the teacher asked, "Children, what do you want to be when you grow up?" "I want to be a teacher. I want to be a doctor. I want to build airplanes. Big, beautiful airplanes." That's impossible, Habibie. Airplanes are too difficult. Nothing is impossible. You will see. One day, my airplane will fly. That night, little Habibie studied hard. "Habibie,
Don't forget to rest, dear. Just a little more, Mama. If I want to reach my dream, I must work hard. When he grew up, Habibi studied at Germany. It was not easy. Sometimes he was very lonely. Habibi, let's play football outside. No, thanks. I have to finish my project. My country is waiting for me. Wow! You never stop. Why you are so serious? Because I have a dream, and dream need a hard work. Even he tired, he whispered to himself, "Come on, Habibi, Indonesia is waiting for you." And finally, after many years of hard work, Habibi come true. He built airplanes and 250 Gatot Kaca. Look, this is our airplanes made by young Indonesian. Yes, this is for my beloved country, Indonesia. With proof of you, Habibi. Later, Habibi also became a president of Indonesia. And people will always remember him, the father of Indonesia airplane. So my friend, what can we learn from Mr. Habibi? If we have a dream, we must believe ourselves, study very hard, and never give up. Well, that's all from me. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, beloved judges, teachers, and all of my dear friends. My name is Kemuning Putulestari Dehantara. I'm from SD Telpon Palembang. Today, I will tell the story of a brave Indonesian Muslimah who raised her voice against injustice. Her name is Haja Rangkayo Rasuna Said. Do you want to hear to my story? Okay, please let me begin. Hajah Rasuna was born in West Sumatra in 1910. As a little girl, she was very curious. One day, she asked her father, "Father, why must we live in fear? Why must we bow to the Dutch?"
Well, my daughter, we are under colonial rule, but one day brave hearts will rise and fight for freedom. Those words stayed in Rasuna's heart. As a teenager, Rasuna became a teacher. She taught not only how to read and write, but also courage. My students, never be afraid. Knowledge is our weapon, and faith is our shield. But she didn't stop there. She gave various speeches on public, criticizing the Dutch government. Why should women be silent? Why should Indonesia live as slaves in our own land? Stand up! Islam teaches us to seek justice. Because of her words, Rasuna was caught and sent to prison.
Young lady, you are dangerous. You'll spend your days behind the bars. You may chain my body, but you cannot chain my voice. My spirit is free, and one day Indonesia will be free too. Even in prison, her courage inspired many. She is known as the Lioness of Freedom. After prison, Rasuna continued her struggle through politics, journalism, and education. Her bravery proved that independence was not only carried by men, but also by strong Muslim women like her. My friends, Rasuna died in 1985. One of Jakarta's busiest streets, Jalan HR Rasuna Said, carries her name, a reminder of her courage. Rasuna taught us how to speak up against injustice and how to believe that women's voices are meaningful and powerful. Rasuna once showed us chains can bind the body, but never a mind of a free soul. Thank you, that's all of my story. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable judges, teachers, and my dear friends, my name is Amanda Mazaya Nafisa, and I'm from SD IT Afrikan, Palembang. Today, I will tell you an inspiring story about the Nusantara hero, Raden Ajeng Kartini. Look, okay, let me start. Long ago, in the small town of Jepara, Central Java, lived a little girl named Kartini. She was born on April 21st, 1879. Her parents loved her dearly, and little Kartini was very smart and curious. But in that time, women could not study freely. Most of them had to stay at home while the boys went to school.
Father, why can't I go to school?
Kartini, traditional say that women have to stay at home. But I see your passion, my daughter. You're special. Keep learning, even from home.
Yes, Father, I will never stop learning.
Kartini did not want to give up. She loves reading books, writing letters, and learn about the world. Her spirit was like a light in the darkness. Day passed. Kartini grew up, became a smart woman. One day, her mother said, "Oh, Kartini, people will talk if you keep questioning traditions." But mother, how can we have a better future if women kept in the dark? Kartini, may Allah bless your struggle. Follow your dream. But life was not easy for Kartini. She had to fight against the old tradition who would try to stop her. But still, she never lost hope. One day, her friend sent her a letter. "Dear Kartini, your letters inspire me. You are brave, even the world is against you." "Oh, Stella, I dream of a time that women in my land can stand equal with men. One day, we will rise from darkness to light." Well, guys, do you know about her famous book? Yes, it is her famous book. Habis gelap, terbitlah terang. From darkness to light became a torch that inspired generations. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Kartini taught us, don't let the darkness stop you. Knowledge is power. Education is the key to freedom. Well, lovely audience, from Kartini's story, we learn that education belongs to everyone, boys and girls alike. She showed us to never give up on our dream. No matter the obstacles, let us be brave to shine our own light in Indonesia and the world. I think that's all. Thank you so much for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, honorable judges, teachers, parents, and all my dear friends. Guys, do you know what is this? Yes, that's right. This is money. Do you know who is he? Thank you. Today I will tell you a story about the brave hero from Maluku. He loves his homeland, he loves his people, and his name is Kapitan Patimura. So, let's begin. Long ago in the beautiful island of Maluku, people lived peacefully. The sea was blue, the land was rich, and the people were happy. But then, the Dutch colonizer came. They want to take Maluku and take its wealth, especially the spices. What a fabulous taxi in this land! Let's grab it now! The people will suffer. Their freedom was taken away. In 1783, in Hari Rasirat Saparua, the baby boy was born. His name is Thomas Matulesi. But later, he known as Kapitan Patimura. He grew up to be strong, smart, and brave. And he loved his homeland, and he could not accept seeing his people suffer. Patimura stood tall and he said, "We will not surrender. We will fight for our land, for our people, and for our freedom." Patimura gathered his warriors, men and women, young and old, together. They formed a strong army to fight the Dutch. Patimura led the people. They fought with spears, swords, and their unbreakable courage. Brother and sister of Maluku, are you ready? Bismillahi Allahu Akbar. The Dutch soldiers were shocked. They did not expect the people of Maluku fight so bravely. But the struggle was very hard. After many battles, Patimura was captured by the Dutch. Even in prison, he stayed strong. He said, "Even if I die, the spirit of the freedom will live on."
In 1817, Pattimura was executed. But his courage, his spirit will never die. Pattimura tell us the real heroes never give up. He told us the freedom is worth fighting for, even with our lives. Friends, let us carry Pattimura's spirit in our heart. Be brave, be strong, and never be afraid to stand what is right, because he was not only in story, they live inside us when we fight for truth and justice. I think that's all my story. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, good morning, honorable judges, teachers, and all of my dear friends. My name is Kairan Kaisara, and I'm from Elementary School of Al Furqan, Palembang. Today, I will give you a story about one of the most respected female heroes in Indonesia. She's not only an inspiration for women, but also an inspiration for us. Do you want to listen my story? I can hear you. Do you want to listen my story? Let me begin the story. Raden Ajeng Kartini was born on April 21, 1879 in Jepara, Central Java. She was very smart, brave, strong, and have a big dream. But at that time, women were not allowed to have a higher education. They were expected to stay at home, cooking, sewing, and also waiting for marriage. One day, little Kartini asked her father, "Father, why can I continue my school like my brothers?"
Kartini, this is our tradition. Woman doesn't need high education.
But Dad, how women can be strong if they keep in darkness? Please, give me a chance. Her father was silent, but Kartini never gave up. Although she can go outside freely, she is still learning a lot. She read all books, magazines, even wrote a letter to her friend. In her letter, she wrote, "I want Indonesian women to be educated. I want they to be as safe as men. After darkness there will come light." Her words became so powerful. After her letter became a book published on Habis Gelap Terbitlah Terang, or After Darkness Comes the Light. Every year, we celebrate Kartini on April 21st to celebrate her struggle. Thank you to Kartini. Every woman can go to school, become teacher, doctor, leader, even a president. Friends, we need to be like Kartini. We should be smart, brave, and never give up with our dream. Just remember her word. After darkness, there will become the light. Thank you to listening to my story. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Good morning, the honorable judges and all audience. My name is Dian Putri Aziza from SDIT Al Furqan, Palembang. Today,
I will tell you the story of our great national hero, Prince Diponegoro. Are you ready to listen? I can't hear you. Once more. Are you ready to listen? Oh, I hear it. Okay, let me begin. Once upon a time, on November 11, 1785, a baby boy was born. His name was Raden Mas Ontowiryo, but later we know him as Prince Diponegoro. He was the eldest son of Sultan Hamengkubuwono III, King of Mataram. One day, the Sultan said, "My son, I want you to be the next king of Mataram." "I'm sorry, father, I can't." "Why? You are wise and capable." "My mother was not a queen, and I don't want to be the spark that causes conflict. Even without the crown, I will stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of this land to protect this kingdom." What a noble answer, right? Time passed. The king died. Raden Mas Jarot, only 13 years old, became Sultan Hamengkubuwono IV. The Dutch colonial became stronger. Rumors spread. People accused Prince Diponegoro of killing the Sultan. But that was not true. It was a lie from the Dutch and Patih Danurejo. One day, the Dutch planned to build a road on Diponegoro's land without permission. "Hey you! Run faster, or you will be punished!" "Stop! This is our land, not yours!" And then the Diponegoro War began. Prince Diponegoro gathered his people to fight back. "My brothers, this is our land. The Dutch have taken our freedom for too long. Stay with me, fight with me. We will not give up. Allahu Akbar." Prince Diponegoro fight for the land, Allah, Allah. Prince Diponegoro fight for the land, Allah, Allah. He rose against the dark day to keep our people free, to say his son sovereign for freedom or become shuhada. Is Azizan Mujahidan, saf by saf by saf by saf. The war was huge. For 5 years, the Dutch suffered heavy losses. Even General de Koock came with a strategy to trap Diponegoro. But Prince Diponegoro never gave up. One day, bad news came. "Oh, Kiai, Pakubuwono and Mangkunagara have joined the Dutch. How can we fight our own brothers?" "Remember, my son, we fight not against family, we fight against injustice." "You are right, Kiai. Thank you."
finally, the Dutch pretend to make peace.
Please, Diponegoro, please stop this war.
I will stop only if you let us build an Islamic kingdom free from your rule. Suddenly, the soldier planned something.
Surrender, Diponegoro!
Astagfirullah! You tricked me! And you know what happened next? Yes, Diponegoro was captured and exiled to Makassar, where he died on January 8, 1855. Although the war lasted only 5 years, the impact was huge. The Dutch East India Company even went bankrupt because of this war. Amazing, right? Prince Diponegoro taught us about bravery, honesty, and love for the nation. So, my friend, let's follow his spirit. Be disciplined, study hard, never give up, and always love Indonesia. Okay, I think that's all about my story. Thank you for listening and happy enjoying. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
However it's hard, I won't be hopeless. I won't be silent. You can't keep me quiet. Won't tremble when you try it. All I know is I won't go speechless. Honorable judges, respected teacher, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi there, let me introduce myself to you all. My name is Haura Zakia Zaidatul Arzak. I am from SIT Insan Mandiri Cendekia Palembang grade 5. Today I want to tell you a story. She is a writer from a famous book with the title After Darkness, Here Comes the Light. I bet all of you know what I'm going to tell about. Yes, this is Raden Ajeng Kartini. Here's the story. In the city of Jepara, a beautiful baby girl was born into a royal family. Her name was Kartini. Her father, a regency chief, and her mother, Ngasira, was a teacher. "Look at our daughter," said her father. "She is so beautiful." "Yes," her mother replied. "I hope she will be helpful to many people one day." Kartini grew up to be a smart and happy girl. She loved learning and was good at school. "I love being at school, learning with my friend, and keep going to school even if my friends stop going." In her city, many girls cannot go to school. Schools are for boys and for the children of rich noble family only. So, when she turned 12, she cannot go to school anymore. She had to stay at home. Friend, do you know what the tradition name? The tradition called dipping it. "You have enough schooling now, Kartini. Girls do not need higher education," said her father. Kartini was very sad. Then she asked her father, "Why can't I go to school anymore?" The father said, "You are 12 now. This is our tradition. You must follow the rules." One by one, each of her friends is not allowed to come to school anymore. The tradition required them to stay at home. Even though she had to stay at home, Kartini still wanted to learn and never gave up. "I want to keep learning. I want to. I can do it." Then, by reading books, she can create a new stitching patterns, and she can create a new dishes. Kartini wrote her worries to her friend in Holland. They support Kartini to not to give up. But Kartini passed away after giving birth her son. Then her friend collected and published her writing in a book with title, "After Darkness, Here Comes the Light." So friend, R.A. Kartini is Indonesian figure of women, freedom, and learning. 21st of April is her birthday and declared as Kartini Day. So friend, we need to keep spirit in learning. Judges, teacher, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of my story. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoy it. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, our judges, teachers, and my dear friends. My name Konita Fahima Izatunisa from SD Ita Al Furqan, Palembang. Today, I want to tell you an inspiring story about an Indonesian woman who became the mother of our national flag. Her name is Fatmawati. Do you want to hear my story? Thank you. Let me begin. Fatmawati was born in Bengkulu on February 5th, 1923. She was a simple girl, but she grew up with strong character, intelligence, and love for her country. When she married with Insinyur Soekarno, the future first president of Indonesia, her life changed forever. But she did not just become a wife. Instead, she became a symbol of women's contribution to Indonesian independence. One day, during the struggle, Fatmawati was doing something very important. Stitch by stitch. This is just not a fabric. This is the soul of Indonesia. She whispered, "Do you know what is she doing?" She is sewing the red and white flag with her own hands.
Fatma, is the flag ready? Tomorrow we will proclaim Indonesia's independence.
Yes, Bung Karno, it will be ready. This flag will witness our freedom. Can you imagine? In the middle of war, with limited resources, Fatmawati used her simple needle to create the flag that we still honor today. On August 17, 1945, when Indonesia proclaimed the independence, the flag that was raised was not made in a factory.
not bought from a store either. Instead, but soon by Fatmawati with her heart and love for her people. And this flag still exists until now. We will call it Bendera Pusaka Sang Saka Merah Putih. Dear friends, Fatmawati's story teaches us that even small action, if done with certainty, can change history. She didn't fight with weapons. She didn't stand on the battlefield. But with her needle and thread, she gave us a symbol of unity, courage, and independence. So whenever we see our red flag waving, red and white flag waving, let us remember Fatmawati. Let us be brave, patriotic, and love Indonesia as she did. Repeat after me. I love Indonesia. I respect my heroes. I will continue the struggle. Okay, my friends, that's all about my story. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ispara Anindya Putri from Elementary School of Al Furqan. Time is yours. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, judges, my teachers, and all my friends. My name is Farah Anindya Putri. I'm from SD Al Furqan, Palembang. Today I will tell you a story of Raden Ajeng Kartini. As a child, Kartini loved going to school, but one day her father said, "Kartini, when you turn 12, you cannot go to school anymore." "But father, why? I love learning. I want to study like my brothers." "It is our tradition. You must stay at home." Kartini felt broken. She found despair. "One day I will prove that education is not only for boys, it's for everyone." During pinita, Kartini was not allowed to leave home, but found the other way. She read books, magazines, and wrote letters to her Dutch friends. "My dear Stella, why a woman here forbidden to study? I dream of a day can stand tall, educated, and free." Even though she was locked inside, her mind traveled far beyond walls. Okay, that's all my story. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, next performance. Kanza Tahia Adisti with the participant number 13 from Elementary School of Salsabila. Get applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, the honorable judge and everyone in this place. Please, before I start, let me introduce myself first. My name is Kanza Tayadisti. You can call me Kanza. I'm 11 years old and I'm from Elementary of Salsabila Islamic School.
So today, I want to tell the life story of female fighter. Can you guess who? Yes, exactly. Raden Ajeng Kartini. Raden Ajeng Kartini, an Indonesian female heroine and a pioneer in women's rights, was born on April 24, 1879 in Jepara, East Java. Born into an aristocratic Javanese family, Kartini had the privilege of receiving a Western education at the Dutch school. When she learned to speak Dutch and was exposed to European ideas, this education broadened her horizon and instilled in her a deep desire to improve the status of Indonesian women, who at the time were largely confined to domestic roles and denied access to education. Kartini's privileged background allowed her to see the first-hand inequalities faced by women in her social scene, fueling her determination to fight for change. Confined to her home after the age of 12. Confined to her after the age of 12. After the age of 12. As was the custom for young women in her social standing, Kartini used her time to educate herself through reading and correspondence. She exchanged letters with herself on a range of issues, including women's rights, education, and social reforms. Kartini's letters reflect her progressive ideas and strong belief that women's importance of education for women. She argued that women should have the same opportunities as men for pursue their dreams and contribute for society. Writing challenged the traditional norms and values that kept women in strive for a more just and equality society. So, Kartini's story exemplifies the power of education and perseverance in overcoming social barriers. Her legacy continues to inspire generations to fight for equality and pursue their dreams, regardless of education. Her letters were published posthumously in the title book Habis Gelap Terbitlah Terang, or in English, Out of Darkness Comes Light. And that is where our story ends, leaving us with a lingering thought and a quiet understanding. And that's all from me. Thank you so much for hearing my story until the end. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Give applause for Kanza. Wow. Kaisa Safia from Elementary School of Al Furqan. Please welcome. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. to the honorable judges, teachers, and all my beloved friends. Today, I'm here to deliver a story about Raden Ajeng Kartini. Once upon a time, in the city of Jepara, born a baby in a royal family named Raden Ajeng Kartini, with the name Kartini. She is the daughter of two nice people from a teacher and also a regent of Jepara. "My wife, look at our daughter. She is so beautiful," said her father. "Yes, she is so beautiful. May God bless her," said her mother. Little Kartini grew into a cheerful girl, played with friends naturally in school, and she really loves learning. But when she was 12 years old, she must follow a rule in there, which is seclusion of the penguin. "Dad, why should I follow the seclusion? I still want to learn and play with my friends and teachers." "No, Kartini, this is a rule here. You must follow the seclusion." With no response, Kartini goes to her room without responding to his father because she's scared to talk to him. But when she didn't learn and go to seclusion, she still writes letters to her friends in Dutch. For example, to Rose. She asked everything to Rose because she wants to know more knowledge. And also, she went to a newspaper, Abandian. Abandian went to offer the newspaper to European people. "Wow, I'm at the newspaper now. I'm so happy." Then she sent a letter to her friend. "Rose, you are the best friend ever. Thank you. If you weren't here, I would never became this far." Then she built a school for women. That's because we can learn now normally without seclusion. The moral of the story is, process will always defend the hard work. So you must learn because Kartini is the one who defend the knowledge for women. I think that is all. I am sorry if there are any mistakes, and I'm thanks to your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Tes. Iya.
Okay, please welcome Fahira Asika Wijaya from Elementary School of Salsabila. Give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Fahira Asika Wijaya, but you can call me Asika, and I'm from SDIT Salsabila. Today, I want to tell you about the person who saw the red and white flag. Can you guess who it was? Yes, you are right. She is Fatmawati Soekarno, the wife of Indonesia's first president, Insinyur Soekarno, and she is one of Indonesian national heroes. Long time ago, Indonesia was under colonial rule. Our heroes were fighting, risking their life for freedom. At that time, Fatmawati played very special role. She didn't fight with sword or gun, but she fought with needle and thread. With her hand, Fatmawati combined two pieces of cloth, the red one symbolizing sacrifice of Indonesian people, and the white one symbolizing purity, sincerity, and noble intention. Finally, on August 17, 1945, the flag, sailed by Fatmawati, hoisted for the first time on
Gagasan Timur Street 56 Jakarta as symbol Indonesian independence. But behind her story, Fatmawati carried hidden struggles. Life with Sukarno wasn't easy, otherwise in his busy days left her lonely. She hid her pain behind a calm smile where Hartini stepped carefully into a house full of silent lungs. Behind every smile, there were quiet tears, a woman unsent sacrifice for family and country. The end. So, listen from the story is, Fatmawati taught us that even small acts of courage and sacrifice can change history. So, that is story about Fatmawati Sukarno. I apologize if there are any mistakes in my words. And I ask Allah for forgiveness. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, next performance, Gwen Sachi Kayana. Stay prepared. Okay, please welcome Gwen Sachi Kayana from Elementary School of Salsabila. Please welcome, give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello there, dear Honorable Judge and everyone. Please, before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Gwen Sachi Kayana, but you call me Sachi. Let's start my story. Kiai Haji Abdurrahman Wahid or Gus Dur as many people call him, was the fourth president of Indonesia. He was not only leader but also teacher. Alright, a man who always fought for justice and peace. Let's learn about life from childhood until passed away. Childhood. Abdurrahman Wahid was born 7/1914 in Jombang as Java. He came from famous religious family. His grandfather Hashim Ash'ari was the founder of Nahdlatul Ulama (NU), one of the biggest Islamic organization in Indonesia. His father Wahid Hashim was also an important figure in the government of Indonesia after independence. As child, Gus Dur was very smart and loved to read books. He enjoyed learning not only about religion but also history, politics, and culture. Sometimes he would read until late at night, and this made him very knowledgeable even at a young age. Education. After finish elementary school, Gus Dur studied in several Islamic boarding school. Pesantren. Later, he went to Yogyakarta and studied in Catholic school, showing that they respect people of different religions. Then he continued his study abroad in Ekpi at Al-Azhar University, one of the oldest Islamic university in the world. Becoming a leader. When Gus Dur returned to Indonesia, he began activity in writing and teaching. He often wrote articles in newspapers and magazines. His writing showed his deep thoughts about religion, politics, and human rights. In 1984, Gus Dur became the leader of Nahdlatul Ulama (NU). As the leader, he encouraged people to be tolerant, peaceful, and respectful of difference. He believed the religion should bring not to hearted. Many people admired his ideas and his humor because he often made jokes while talking about serious things. President of Indonesia in 1999, after the Reformation period, Gus Dur was elected as the fourth president of Indonesia. He was the first president who came from a religious background, not from the military, as Gus Dur tried to build democracy and protect the rights of all Indonesia, including minorities. He wants everyone, no matter their religion or ethnicity, to feel safe and respect. He also worked to reduce corruption, even though this was a very difficult task. Unfortunately, his time as president he was not only long. In 2009, when the parliament decided to end his presidency, even though he was not longer president, Gus Dur continued to inspire people with talks and writings. Later life and passing. After leaving in the presidency, Gus Dur remained activity in giving speeches, writing, and meeting people. He was loved by many Indonesia because he was simple, funny, and he showed that a leader should be humble and care about ordinary people. On December 13, 2001, Gus Dur passed away in Jakarta. His death was a big loss for Indonesia. Thousands of people came to this funeral in Jombang to give last respect. Legacy. Even after his death, Gus Dur is remembered as a symbol of tolerance, peace, and democracy. People still call him Bapak Pluralisme or Father Pluralisme, because he respects all difference in society. His jokes, wisdom, and kind continue to inspirasi to Indonesia at the end. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So, Assalamualaikum everyone. It is nice to meet all of you for the second time. My name is Hanalida Shifa Anafi, 4th grade in Global Talent Islamic School and Studio. Today, I want to tell you guys a story about a very cool person from Indonesia. Maybe some of you guys don't know him yet, but after this story, you'll remember. And the hero is Haji Agus Salim. So, who was he? Haji Agus Salim was the first foreign minister of Indonesia. When Indonesia had just become independent, he was the one who spoke to other countries so they believed that Indonesia was free.
He was like the spokesperson of Indonesia for the whole world. Isn't he wonderful? But that's not all. He was also a diplomat. A diplomat means someone who talks to other people from other countries to make peace or agreements. When Agus Salim spoke, his words were smart, very strong, and of course, brilliant. People respected him a lot. And guess what? He was also a polyglot. A polyglot means someone who can talk many languages across the world. Do you want to know how many? I'm going to tell you. He doesn't speak 2, he doesn't speak 3, but he speaks 9 foreign languages. He can speak like Arabic, English, Dutch, Germany, French, Turkish, Japanese, and Latin, and of course Indonesia. Alright, so Agus Salim was also known as a teacher for our leaders. Why? Because many great Indonesian leaders actually learned from him. For example, Sukarno, Hatta, and Sultan Syahrir. They often discuss ideas with Agus Salim. So he was like the teacher of our nation's big leaders. And do you know that what makes him extra special? He was not only smart, but also very funny. And sometimes people make fun of him because of his simple life. They even tease him about his long beard. Oh ho ho ho, you look so silly with that beard. Your beard looks so funny. But instead of Agus Salim getting angry, he smiled and said, "This beard is cheaper than a necktie, and it's so funny, and it still makes me look serious." Everyone laughed and the teasing stopped. So everyone, what can we learn from Mr. Agus Salim? 1. Learning is important. 2. Languages like bridges to the world. 3. Stay humble even though you are smart. 4. There are many ways to fight for the country. Some people fight with their weapons, but Agus Salim fought with his words. 5. Use humor to face problems and never stop smiling. Now, if you hear the name Haji Agus Salim, just remember this. He was the first foreign minister of Indonesia, a great diplomat, and a master at 9 languages, and a teacher for our big leaders. That's my speech. But before I end the story time, I am going to ask you guys, if you could learn many languages like Agus Salim, which one would you like to learn first? Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. Have a good day.